Let me guess, lately, it feels like stress is running the show, doesn't it? You're trying to control every little detail, every outcome, every single thing. But the harder you push, the more everything seems to slip through your fingers. Sound familiar? Now, let me ask you this: what if the secret isn't in holding on tighter, but in learning to let go? Because, my friend, that's where true power lies. In this video, I'm going to share something that could change everything: how to manifest what you truly desire without exhausting yourself in the process. And no, this isn't about wishful thinking or sitting back, waiting for miracles. Today, you're going to learn powerful principles from Stoic philosophy that will help you release stress, take back control of your life, and attract what you've always dreamed of. I promise, it's not what you're expecting, but that's exactly why it works. Are you ready to tap into the power that's already within you? But before we dive in, I want you to put yourself in someone else's shoes for a moment. Let me tell you a story, one that might sound a little too familiar. Javier was a top executive, the kind of person who always seemed to have everything under control. A packed calendar, high-stakes decisions, and non-stop pressure to always deliver. But at what cost? One day, in the middle of a big presentation, something happened, something he never saw coming. His body shut down. Just like that. He couldn't move. He couldn't speak. A panic attack left him completely frozen. Javier, the man with all the answers, felt powerless for the first time in years. And in that moment, a voice inside him screamed, "What am I doing with my life?" At a friend's suggestion, he did something unthinkable. He unplugged. He escaped to a cabin in the mountains. No emails. No phone calls. Just him in silence. At first, his mind wouldn't stop racing. What's happening at the office? What will people think? But then, something shifted. Walking through the trees, listening to the wind, he remembered a quote from Marcus Aurelius. "Accept whatever comes, even if it's different from what you expected." And just like that, as if a fog had lifted, he understood. Javier realized he didn't have to control everything for things to work out. When he got back to the city, he stopped filling every minute of his day with meetings. So, what did he do with his free time? He made space for what truly mattered. Time to reflect. To take care of himself. To be with his family. And here's the craziest part: when he let go of control, everything didn't fall apart. In fact, it got better. Work improved, results skyrocketed, and for the first time in a long time, he felt at peace. Now, let me ask you, how often have you felt like Javier, carrying a weight that feels impossible to put down? Maybe today is the day you say, "Enough." Maybe today is the day you see what happens when you let calm do the work. Are you ready to give it a shot? Let's begin. 1. Let go and relax. Imagine you're standing on a beach. You scoop up a handful of sand and squeeze it tightly. At first, it feels like you have control, but the harder you grip, the faster it slips through your fingers. Sound familiar? Doesn't it remind you of life when you try to control everything? Trust me, the more you fight to micromanage every little detail, the faster it all seems to fall apart. And suddenly, you're trapped in a cycle, exhausted, frustrated, and even further from what you really want. Ring a bell? Let's be honest, clinging to control isn't working. It's like trying to drive with the handbrake on. What happens? You don't move. All you do is burn yourself out. But the moment you release that brake, you move forward effortlessly. And that's exactly what you need to do in life. Let go. Now, don't get me wrong. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the process. And when you do, when you stop holding on so tightly, something amazing happens. Things start falling into place on their own. A simple example. Picture this, you're on a family trip. You've planned every detail, the perfect departure time, the best restaurants, even games to keep the kids entertained. But of course, nothing goes as planned. Traffic is terrible. It starts pouring rain. And just when you think it can't get worse, your kids throw a tantrum. What do? Do you lose it because the universe didn't follow your plan? Or do you accept that some things are simply out of your control? Because, my friend, that's life. You can't control traffic, the weather, or tantrums. But you can control how you react. And this is where Stoicism works its magic. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, left us a powerful lesson: accept whatever fate brings you, and cherish the people it places in your life, but do so with all your heart. In other words, stop wasting energy pressing the gas pedal while the handbrake is still on. Release it, and you'll move forward with ease. Because at the end of the day, what matters more, making sure everything is perfect or actually enjoying the journey? I know, letting go sounds great in theory, but much harder in real life. Don't worry, I've got you. Let me show you 3 simple steps you can start practicing today. Not only will they help you let go, but they'll also help you relax and attract what you truly desire. Step 1, write it down and let it go. Grab a piece of paper. Write down whatever is stressing you out. Doesn't have to be fancy, just something like, I keep trying to control this, but I realize I can't. Then, crumple it up and throw it away. Why? Because it's a signal to your mind, this is no longer my burden. Step 2, the red light pause. Next time things don't go as planned, pause. Take a deep breath, inhale for 4 seconds, hold, then exhale for 6. This simple habit reminds you that sometimes, the best way to move forward is to stop and breathe. Step 3, make space for nothing. Yes, nothing. Even if it's just 15 minutes a day. What do? Listen to music. Stare at the sky. Enjoy the silence. Why? Because it's in these quiet moments that your clearest ideas and deepest desires rise to the surface. When you stop trying to control everything, you create space for what truly matters. And here's the crazy part, when you learn to let go, life doesn't fall apart like you feared. It actually starts coming together. This isn't magic. It's clarity. When you stop wasting energy on things you can't change, you free up space for what truly matters. Now, think about this. What if today, you chose to let go? Not everything, just one small thing. Stop clinging to the sand. Relax. Let life flow. Because real change begins the moment you decide to let go. 2. get a good night's rest. Ever tried using your phone when it's down to 10% battery? Everything slows down, apps freeze, and if you don't charge it soon, it shuts off completely. Now, think about this. How often do you go through life with your body and mind running at just 10%? Imagine waking up every morning with your battery at a full 100%. Sounds amazing, right? But I know what you're thinking. I don't have time to rest. I have too much to do. What if I told you that mindset is actually holding you back from creating the life you truly want? Here's the truth. No one tells you this, but rest isn't wasted time. It's one of the best investments you can make in yourself. It's the time when your body and mind recharge so you can show up at your best the next day. And believe it or not, rest isn't just about collapsing into bed after a long, exhausting day. It's about creating a space where your mind and body can truly recover and reset. Think of it like maintaining your car. If you don't change the oil, check the brakes, or tune the engine, it might keep running for a while. But eventually, it will break down. Your body and mind work the same way. They need nightly maintenance to function at their best. And when you rest well, you don't just feel better. You think better. You make better decisions. You put yourself in the perfect state to manifest everything you desire. And this isn't just some feel-good idea, science backs it up. At night, while you sleep, your brain goes into deep cleaning mode. Did you know that while you're resting, a tiny cleaning crew in your brain is working overtime? It's true. A study from the Center for Neuroscience at the University of Rochester found that while you sleep, your brain removes toxins that build up throughout the day. It's like sweeping away stress and mental clutter so you wake up refreshed and clear-headed. When you sleep well, it's like hitting a reset button. You wake up focused, energized, and ready to tackle what truly matters. Even Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest emperors, understood this. He once said, "Even the soul needs rest to be effective." Despite leading an entire empire, he knew that without proper rest, he couldn't give his best. For him, rest wasn't a luxury, it was a strategy. At the end of each day, he reflected, disconnected from stress, and allowed himself to recharge. So, if an emperor could find time to rest, why can't you? I get it. You're probably thinking, rest sounds great, but between work, family, and responsibilities, how am I supposed to make it happen? Don't worry, I've got you. Here's a simple nighttime ritual you can start today to make quality rest a reality. Turn off screens at least 30 minutes before bed. Yes, even your phone. Instead, pick up a book. Something relaxing that won't overstimulate your brain, like a light novel or an inspiring read. Write down your intentions for the next day. For example, tomorrow, I'll dedicate an hour to that project I'm excited about. I'll truly listen during every conversation. This not only helps you relax, but it also aligns your mind with what you want to achieve. Spend 5 minutes breathing deeply before sleep. Nothing complicated. Just inhale slowly, hold, and exhale gently. This signals your body that it's time to relax. So, the next time you think of sleep as just a basic necessity, remember this. Even the brightest stars need the darkness to shine. And you, my friend, are no exception. 3. Start your day strong. Ever wonder why some days feel effortless, like everything is falling into place, while others feel like an endless uphill battle? It's not magic. It's not luck. So what makes the difference? It all comes down to how you start your morning. Your first few hours set the tone for the entire day, just like tuning an instrument before a concert. Imagine stepping onto a stage without adjusting the strings. It would be a disaster. But when you take a moment to tune them, everything flows in harmony, right? Every note resonates, every chord fits perfectly. That's the secret. The way you begin your morning doesn't just affect how you feel, it shapes everything that follows. Sounds like something worth paying attention to, doesn't it? Let me share a personal experience that completely changed my mornings. One day, instead of jumping out of bed and grabbing my phone like I usually did, I decided to switch things up. I sat quietly for a few minutes, took a deep breath, and thought about how I wanted my day to go. Then, instead of letting notifications dictate my mood, I put on one of my favorite songs, the kind that instantly lifts your energy. As I made my coffee, I found myself dancing in the kitchen. I won't lie, it felt a little ridiculous at first. But guess what? That entire day flowed better than I could have imagined. Even the little frustrations that usually irritated me seemed insignificant. It was as if that small burst of energy set the tone for everything else. And you know who else understood the power of mornings? Seneca. He believed that every new day is a gift, a blank slate to be used wisely. He started his mornings reflecting, writing, and aligning his mind with what truly mattered. For him, the goal wasn't to react to the world, it was to prepare to face it. And you can do the same. Those early hours are your chance to take control and direct your energy where it matters most. So how can you start your mornings differently? Let me share a simple routine to set the right tone for your day. Take a few deep breaths before touching your phone. Before grabbing your phone, just sit for a moment and breathe deeply. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2, then exhale slowly for 6. Do this 3 times. You'll be amazed at how much calmer and more centered you feel. Find something that sparks joy. For me, it's music. Why not give it a try? Put on a song that inspires you, one that makes you want to move. And yes, even if it sounds silly, dance for a few minutes. It doesn't matter if you're alone in the kitchen or standing in front of a mirror. You might even laugh at yourself, and that's the point. No one has to see you, but that little burst of joy can completely transform your mood. Set a simple intention for the day. Before leaving the house, take a moment to set one small goal for the day. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's enjoying your lunch without rushing. Maybe it's getting through the supermarket line without frustration. These small intentions bring clarity and act as stepping stones toward manifesting what you truly desire. So, let me ask you, how do you want your mornings to be from now on? Do you want to start in chaos, letting the day push you around? Or do you want to take control, create your moment, and set the tone for a day that flows your way? My friend, you don't need a perfect routine. You don't have to wake up at the crack of dawn. You just need to start strong, with calm and intention. Remember, every morning is a fresh opportunity. And how you choose to embrace it can be the beginning of everything you've ever wanted. Before we move on, if you're finding value in this content, consider subscribing and becoming part of this community. And tell us in the comments, what's one step you're willing to take to start your day stronger and attract what you truly desire? We want to grow together with you. 4. Your mind, your best ally. Think of your mind like a puzzle. When all the pieces are scattered and jumbled, it's impossible to see the full picture. Everything feels chaotic. But what happens when you take a moment to sort them? You group them by colors, by shapes, and suddenly, something amazing happens. The image starts to take shape. And my friend, that's exactly how your mind works. When it's cluttered with stress, worries, and disorganized thoughts, what can you see clearly? Nothing. But when you give it calm and space, what a relief. That's when everything starts falling into place. The power of a calm mind. A few years ago, Chesley Sullenberger, better known as Sully, faced a moment most people would call a nightmare. Picture this. You're piloting a commercial airplane with over 150 people on board. Everything's going smoothly until the unthinkable happens. Both engines fail. A flock of birds strikes the plane, and suddenly, you're losing power fast. All you see ahead is a crowded city and an icy river. What would most people do? Panic. Without a doubt. But Sully did something different. He closed his eyes for a split second and took a deep breath. There was no room for chaos in his mind. Instead, he visualized what needed to happen. He had one shot, landing the plane safely on the Hudson River. Was he certain it would work? Not at all. But he trusted his experience, his team, and, most importantly, his ability to stay calm. He manifested it. As alarms blared and passengers held their breath, Sully spoke in a firm, steady voice. Brace for impact. It wasn't just a technical command. It was a statement of confidence, a declaration of control. He was manifesting what everyone needed in that moment. Hope. And because of his calm, focused mind, he did something extraordinary. He landed the plane safely on the river. Not a single life was lost. The wisdom of the Stoics. Epictetus once said, "What disturbs us is not what happens, but our thoughts about it." Sully couldn't control the engines. He couldn't undo the bird strike. But he could control his mind. And by doing so, he turned a chaotic situation into an opportunity to act with clarity and save lives. And that's what we can learn from his story. When you choose to calm your mind, you stop seeing problems and start seeing solutions. How to train your mind to be your best ally. The key is to organize the pieces of your mental puzzle. Here's a simple 5-minute exercise to declutter your thoughts. Step 1. Identify your worries. Take a moment to recognize what's on your mind. Maybe you're stressed about a tight work deadline, a recent argument with a friend, financial worries this month. Step 2. Sort them into puzzle pieces. Imagine each worry as a puzzle piece. Your work deadline. Mark it yellow. Something you can start working on immediately. The argument with your friend. Mark it orange. Something you can resolve later with a simple call. Your finances. Mark it red. Something to review when you sit down to budget. Step 3. Give everything a place. Once you've sorted them, suddenly things feel clearer. Your mind isn't drowning in chaos anymore. And even if you don't have all the answers right away, something amazing happens. You feel lighter. You're making progress. And that overwhelming feeling? Gone. Why this matters? When your mind is clear, you don't just feel better. You also open yourself up to possibilities that once seemed unreachable. Because a calm mind has the power to manifest everything you desire. So maybe it's time to stop trying to control everything and start trusting in the strength that's already inside you. 5. Disconnect from the noise. Have you ever tried listening to your favorite song in the middle of a crowded street? Honking cars, blaring sirens, people shouting? No matter how hard you try, the noise drowns it out, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly how we live today. Every notification, every random conversation, every news alert. They bombard you like background noise, making it impossible to focus on what truly matters. Now, let me ask you this. How do you expect to discover what you really want when your mind is trapped in constant chaos? If you don't silence the noise, if you don't create space, you'll never hear the music inside you. Look around. How much time do you spend watching what others are doing? Scrolling through social media, reading headlines that feel urgent. But let's be honest, you'll forget about them by tomorrow. All that noise doesn't just steal your time. It fills your mind with things that pull you further away from what you truly desire. Think about it. Every notification, every comparison, every distraction is like dust piling up on a window. How can you see clearly when everything is smudged? But if you stop, if you disconnect for a moment, it's like wiping that window clean. Suddenly, you see what's on the other side. You see your ideas, your dreams, the opportunities that have always been there. But when unnoticed, Epictetus said it centuries ago. The free person is the one who is not afraid to go to the end of their thoughts. And to get there, you need to turn off the external noise. You can't reflect on your deepest desires when your mind is trapped in an endless stream of distractions. Because silence, that's where your thoughts finally have the freedom to grow, to transform into actions, and eventually, into results. Let me ask you, my friend, how often do you feel like your mind is so cluttered you can't even think straight? Be honest. You're tired of it, aren't you? All that noise doesn't just exhaust you. It pulls you further away from what really matters. So, are you ready to do something that most people are too afraid to try? Let's turn off the noise. How? Here's what I suggest. Try a no notification day. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to turn off your phone completely. Just set specific times to check messages. For example, only check notifications at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. The rest of the time? Ignore them. Believe me, I tried it myself, and the difference was instant. Suddenly, I had time to focus on my goals, stick to my rituals, and most importantly, be present. Spend time in nature, without distractions. It doesn't have to be an epic hike. Just step outside, go to a park, your backyard, anywhere. Take 10 minutes to listen. The wind. The birds. The sound of leaves crunching underfoot. But no cheating, leave your headphones at home. Just you, your mind, and nature. And you'll notice something incredible. It's as if nature reminds you of a slower, more authentic rhythm. A rhythm that's always been there, waiting for you. Think of it like putting out a fire. Imagine a firefighter facing a massive blaze. Before they can see clearly, they have to extinguish the flames. And that's exactly what you need to do with the noise in your life. First, put out the flames of distractions. Then, and only then, can you finally see what's underneath. And in that moment of calm, your mind becomes a fertile ground. A space where your ideas and desires can finally bloom. Because when you disconnect from the noise, that's when you can truly focus on what matters. And start manifesting it step by step. 6. Do things with calm. Have you ever noticed that rushing through things is like cooking on a hot pan with no oil? Everything burns faster. And the worst part? Nothing turns out the way you wanted. Here's the truth. Calmness isn't slowness, it's strategy. It's about moving at the pace things need to flow smoothly and come out right. Picture this. You're cooking for a special dinner. You've invited friends, and everything is planned. But you get home late, so you start chopping ingredients in a rush. The vegetables are uneven. The sauce spills everywhere. And while you're distracted, the pasta overcooks. When you serve the dish, it's nothing like what you envisioned. Sound familiar? Now, think of the opposite. You give yourself time. You chop the ingredients carefully, enjoying the process. You taste the sauce as it cooks, adjusting the flavors. The pasta turns out perfectly al dente. And the result? Not only is the dish delicious, but you actually enjoyed making it. Coincidence? Not at all. Rushing doesn't just ruin recipes. It ruins opportunities. Stop comparing your speed to others. We often rush because we see others moving fast, as if life were a race. But listen, my friend. Everyone has their own rhythm. Comparing yourself to someone else is like trying to make a plant grow faster just by staring at it. It won't work. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. He once said, "The mind is like water, when it's calm, it reflects the world clearly." As an emperor, he had enormous responsibilities. But he didn't tackle everything at once. He reflected, prioritized, and acted with calm. Even in the middle of crises, he kept his mind steady to make wise decisions. For him, it wasn't about doing things faster. It was about doing them better. How can you bring more calm into your life? I know slowing down isn't easy when everything around you moves at lightning speed. But what if I told you that small moments of calm actually help things fall into place? The 2-minute pause before any task. Before starting anything, stop for 2 minutes. Just 2. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what's the most important thing I can do right now? Mentally organize your steps, like tidying up your mind's desk. This simple ritual won't just give you clarity. It'll help you act from a relaxed state. And when you're relaxed, everything flows better. Stop multitasking, it's a trap. I know, multitasking seems like the key to success. But here's what no one tells you. You won't do any of those tasks well. So what should you do instead? Pick one task. Just one. And give it your full attention. It's like planting a seed. If you care for it properly, it will grow strong. And once that task is done, move on to the next. You won't just get more done, you'll do it better. Trust the process, everything has its time. With calmness, you create space for what you truly desire to take shape. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. And he couldn't be more right. Calmness doesn't just improve results. It allows you to enjoy the process. Imagine how your life would change if, instead of racing against the clock, you chose to move forward with ease, savoring each step. No matter how much you have to do, if you take the time to do it right, everything will start to flow effortlessly. And the best part? You'll feel more in control, more at peace. Because when you do things calmly, you create space for what you truly desire to start taking shape. 7. Be grateful for what you have. Picture this. Someone hands you a box and tells you, inside is everything you're missing in life. Everything that would change your world if you had it. Excited, you open it, expecting to find something extraordinary. But all you see is a mirror. At first, you're confused. What does this mean? And then it hits you. You don't need more. You just need to see what you already have through new eyes. The truth about gratitude. We're always chasing the next thing. The next goal. The next big opportunity. The next version of ourselves. And in that chase, we forget to appreciate where we are right now. But here's the secret. When you start being grateful for what you already have, something shifts. Life feels lighter. Stress starts to fade. And almost like magic, you begin to attract more good things. And speaking of seeing what we have differently, let me tell you a story. The farmer who learned to see differently. There was once a farmer who, like many of us, couldn't stop thinking about everything he was missing. Every day, he complained. My house is too small. It's uncomfortable. I can't rest. If only I had a bigger house, my life would be better. One day, desperate for a solution, he went to the village wise man for advice. The wise man listened carefully, then said, "Go home and bring your chickens inside the house." The farmer was surprised, but he obeyed. The next day, he returned. "This is worse. I can't move with all these chickens inside." The wise man smiled and said, "Now bring the pig inside, too." Again, the farmer followed the advice. By the third day, he was furious. "This is a disaster. I can't take it anymore." Finally, the wise man said, "Now, take the chickens and the pig out." And when the farmer returned home, he realized something incredible. Suddenly, his small house felt spacious and peaceful. The size of his house hadn't changed, but his perspective had. For the first time, He appreciated what he had. The magic of gratitude. Do you see? Gratitude doesn't always change your circumstances. Everything might stay the same. But do you know what does change? The way you see them. And when you shift your perspective, you start noticing opportunities that were hidden before. Gratitude isn't just about feeling good. It's about activating a power inside you. According to psychologist Robert Emmons, gratitude works like a magic wand. It helps you see opportunities where before you only saw problems. It aligns you with what truly matters. And the best part? You don't need any special tricks to do it. Gratitude is the wand you've always had in your hands. The Stoic perspective on gratitude. Of course, this idea isn't new. Seneca once said, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." For the Stoics, gratitude was a daily practice. They gave thanks for the smallest things. The sunrise. The bread they ate. A meaningful conversation. Because when you train yourself to see the good, you stop wasting energy on what's missing. And when you do that, you open the door to manifesting even more good things in your life. How can you practice gratitude? And no, this isn't the usual write down 3 things every day advice. Let's try something different. Set aside a gratitude moment once a week. Find a quiet spot. Grab a piece of paper. Write down 3 things you're truly grateful for.